Hello and welcome to the first Innistrad Midnight hunt, slow unpacking. I'm immediately very excited to start. Let's check a little bit if the audio is good as well, so that you can all hear me. I hope you have all been able to get your own coffee, because that's really important, as I keep saying. Not trying to get you addicted to caffeine, but coffee is really nice and you should have it. And hello, Matt. Let's open this up immediately. Because I don't know about you, but I always pre-order my stuff. And I also suck at this. Let's use a pen for this little thing. I always pre-order my... I'll use more pennage. Great. Pre-order my boxes and stuff, and a few set boosters, of course, to make sure that I can make videos. Basically, otherwise I would be a little bit more chill about it maybe, but yeah, well, if you want to do the videos immediately, you have to do it. And I also have some boxes, of course, which I'm never chill about. Some boxes to play with friends, because I think it's really cool to do some pre-release games together. And we already did some, which is cool. Made some seal decks, it's called, and played around with those, so I know a little bit about what the cards are. And what cards I really like, at least, which I used for my deck. So these boosters, if you are some of the first then to watch, then congrats. I will show you the 6 boosters on here. And I don't recognize checking this out yesterday, but sorry for the atrocious sounds. But you can make your own mask. That's cool. We'll make those later and post them on Twitter or something. Don't think that's a really cool separate stream or something. Your first harvest tide, maybe your last. Nights on Innistrad grow longer. The werewolves plan to ravage the humans' upcoming Harvesttide festival to ensure a future of eternal night. Werewolf planeswalker Arlincourt must stop her kin and the encroaching darkness. Can she and her newfound allies restore balance before the sun sets for good? That's an addition. Yeah, that's a nice addition. Oh, and this looks really cool too. Maybe a little bit hard to read, but the picture is really cool. The Moon of Innistrad and the Traveler's prayer to Sigarda. So the prayer says, might be a little bit of blasphemy this, but the prayer says, Sigarda the True, the Shadow Slayer, the hope of the lost, protect us through this long night. May the dangers in the darkness bring harm to no one, and may our fears be met with Heron's grace. Avacyn is gone, yet you remain. To you, Sigarda, we offer this prayer. Okay. Lore, spicy lore. No, it's not spicy lore. It's a lore that has been known for a long time. Of course, I think in this case as well, this box is just an empty box, of which you will have a lot if you play multiple pre-releases. But you can use one for your dice, and then the other ones are completely almost useless. I need to find a use for them, because I think it's such a shame for it's good cardboard. Maybe it's possible to send stuff with it or something. But so one of these boxes, these are very useful, and I think you can get or at least what I saw from my friends, you can get one of two colors of these bigger die. So I can show you how a small one looks. So small one is this size, and the bigger one is almost twice as large, which is cool. Let's put them together because this one's also, I think. Oh no, it looks a lot like it. This one is from Dungeons and Dragons. Let's see. In here we have, of course, well, oh, a little bit of a bundle extra, which says, oh wait, if I unpack it, you can see it better. So let's just do that. This is an glows in the dark. I can make it dark here, but maybe later. Oh dear. Ah, there we go. It's starting to crumble. Oh, that can be kept in the little box. So here's Triskai the file, something like that. I think in the larger art you could really see that this guy is holding a hand in his box or something, which is cool because there are a lot of people on Innistrad that like hands a little bit too much. The card says you have no maximum hand size at the beginning of your upkeep. If you have exactly 13 cards in your hand, you win the game. And for 4 mana you can draw a card to manipulate the number of cards in your hand. She's always willing to land a hand, it just won't be your own. So that's what he says. And then we have some weirdly non other art lands here. So we have the one from I think a little bit like this is foil, so it's a little bit different. Andreas Roja with these two cool ones. And this is from Kaisia Kaes Silenska, I think it's how you say it, but not sure. Mohammed Firdaus here with this mountain. Andreas again with the forest with the dead skulls on it. And then I think we start repeating ourselves. Repeating ourselves. Repeating ourselves. Repeating ourselves. Non-foil, but repeating ourselves. And I think we keep repeating ourselves, and this just needs to go into the land box for people that want to play draft here. So no worries, I try to use everything that I get, because otherwise that would be a shame. But Triskai the file, I don't know how to say that, is the first card. And here we go. Let's see. Oh, not the codes. I don't have a code in here. Oh, that's a shame. Only the how to cast spells with mana, of course. Blocking, attacking, and what to do in your turn. I really don't have. I don't think so. Is it hidden? Or did they stop doing that? Because that's a shame. I liked that I got those and I could show those, but no codes here. But then let's just get in there with these packs, because these are in the box. Maybe they're between those. No, they're not. We got 8 set boosters here, which is cool. No other arts on the packs, so not really a way to ask which one we want to start with. But let's get our trusted boy here. And now you get to see my hand some more. Going down. Going all the way down. Great. I think getting faster with those switches. Awesome. And then still put my hand in front of it to open this. Ooh, they are a little bit more loose than usually. But let us look at this. There's not another box to do these in. So I'm going to pull the token to the front. Some people have asked me to do that, and I don't really care too much. But the first one is not a werewolf, it's a vampire. It's a 3/1 trample, lifelink, and haste vampire token from Bastien Aldeharm, who does a lot of art, I think. I usually always try to check up on whether people are art directors as well. It doesn't seem that way. Yeah, trample, lifelink, and haste. It feels like a really aggressive vampire that just wants to get in and then protect you because he attacked you. And the art is really classic for a vampire, I think. Which is cool. Too with the bats, and that's exactly what you expect to say, of course. To see. A little bit of the nipple action here too. Not afraid to do those once in a while, apparently. Which is nice. Free the nipples. So then we have our art card here, which is, I'm not sure, so I will have to turn it around. But you get to see a nice planes. Candlelit Cavalry from Vico Menezes. It says Menezes. But it's a cool card. It's so the cavalry from these witches in this set. They come in, they try to free some cities, or that's what I've heard. And they look cool. They look like people of the people. They seem proud about what they do. They use weapons that are not too impressive, but still they try their best to help their fellow citizens. It's cool, you can see that too. And what we can see in this art card, which is also cool, is that this set features a lot of orange for the fall, and they did this last time with the War of the Spark set, I think, as well. It looks cool, and it's on theme for fall, and a little bit of the Halloween vibe, of course, which we will also get. So cool art. Cavalry will help us. They look stern, they look unhappy. We have this land card from Alexa Danner. These land cards look really cool in real life, I can tell you that. I was a little bit skeptical of them because they were black and white. I don't really like those colors usually, but when they are foil like this as well, I think they are extra cool. And yeah, this one in particular, I think these lands are supposed to be places where that are abandoned, isn't that the usual thing, by the way, foil basic? In these set boosters, I think it's a little bit different, but maybe it's not. But yeah, they look extra cool in foil, but they look extra cool because, well, if you have a full art in your hand, it just feels so much better. I think that's just it. So yeah, let's check what we have behind this beautiful land. It's Component Collector. So a little bit of a, yeah, well, it goes with the theme of hand stuff. If it's neither day or night, it becomes day as it enters the battlefield, and when day or night switches, you may tap or untap target non-land permanent. I did not mean mechanically, by the way, I meant for the flavor. Keep Master busy with new bits, or else maybe she wonders if I'm made of bits too. Well, they are made of bits as well. And yeah, you should make your master happy always by getting new stuff. This one does not really get new stuff or anything, but he tries to help, and that's great. Keep trying to help. So then we have organ order, going with the same exact theme where we are trying to get organs for someone. This one is a little bit of a zombie who keeps going even though he does not have to anymore. When it ends the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Yeah, so why is it doing this? The Stitcher died years ago, but her dutiful assistant still keeps the laboratory well stocked. So here we see why Innistrad needs to be called once in a while, because otherwise these zombies keep assimilating. There will be more and more zombies, and that's never a good story, especially not if their sole assignment was to get more organs. Not great. A little bit of a same mechanic as Teferi has, so I am still wondering whether Teferi has this job as well in his spare time. Let's hope not. Revenge of the Drowned. So there is a small sub-theme of people being drowned and people wanting to be drowned as well, apparently. This one is a 4 mana instant. Target creature's owner puts it, so the creature, on top or bottom of their library, which is really strong. There have been 5 mana instances of this effect that were also pretty good. I mean, it is still a sort of removal, and your opponent will draw that card next turn, maybe if they want, but they don't. But they still lose a card that they would have otherwise drawn. So, and it gets removed from the battlefield, of course. But you also get a 2/2 black zombie creature. So for 4 mana, I think this is a really good effect. The flavor says, a heavy net doesn't always mean a good catch. No, not in your case. Because people drown here, and you might catch some zombies, which you do not want. In this case, 2. More blue cards. So if this were my my box to make a deck out of, I think I would immediately be leaning towards blue with all these pretty okay playable cards already. Drownyard Amalgam is a zombie horror, so another zombie, another thing that plays with body parts and stuff. When it enters the battlefield, target player mills 3 cards, so another mill card that lets you get more cards into your graveyard to use later. And for 3 mana, you can make it unblockable for this turn, which lets you get in for 3. It's nicer as a blocker, basically, but it's flexible in that way. 3 mana is not too much for 3 damage to face. When human corpses are in short supply, Stitchers get creative. So they might use one of Emrakul's tentacles for one of their zombies. And I think because of the moon is in the background of this card, we might start to think about when our moon lady is returning again. Because she probably will. And it might just be a matter of time. I'm going to put you guys down a little bit more, because I think this is nicer. Yeah. Yeah, another blue card, another mill card. Art is horrifying again. From Alex Brock this time. We will look at those later as well. Another blue card. Like, it almost feels like I bought a blue theme pack, but I can promise it is not. This one is Falcon Abomination. It's a 3 mana zombie bird where a guy is holding his hand above him. I don't think that will help too much. But this card says that when it enters the battlefield, you will get a 2/2 zombie with decayed. So these decayed zombies, they can attack, but they cannot block, and when they attack you have to sacrifice it at the end of combat. So you can't sacrifice them after combat. The foulest of foul. Get it? Foulest of foul. Maybe you don't get it, but just kidding. Dawnhard Mentor, the first card that is not about hacking off hands. Well, the Abomination wasn't either, but this Mentor is a 3-mana human warlock. When it enters the battlefield, you get another 1/1. So it isn't completely useless as an attacker, because it brings a 1/1 human token. No, just kidding, it's a wall, and when you pay 6 mana, target creature you control gets +3/+3 and gains trample. So their human can be a 4/4 attacker, or they can be a 3/4 attacker themselves. Activate only if you have Coven. And Coven, I will explain this only once because I think a lot of people already know it, and I think as well that it will take a little bit too much time, but here we go. You can only activate it if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers. So what's cool about this card, for example, is that this one gives you 2 different kinds of powers already, 1 and 0. And it could give you another number. Let's say you have another 1/1 human. For 6 mana you can give it another power. Usually it's better because you can do it without getting Coven, such kind of effects. But this one can only do it after you get Coven. But then if someone would remove another number, it might not work, so you can do this in response or something. Well, not really that part, but it does bring 2 kinds of powers, and that's really cool. So Dawnhard Mentor, what does it say? It says that this lady is helping this man behind her become a Dawnhard as well. We have more Dawnhard people. This time it's 3 people. It's a 3-mana human warlock, pretty good uncommon. Got to see it played. Does work really well. What it says: if you have Coven at the beginning of your combat on your turn, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So usually there are +1/+1 effects for all creatures for 3 mana as well. This one only lets you attack better, but I think it works really well because it forces you into an archetype, honestly. So the deck building becomes a lot less hard, but also attacking with just a little bit more power in a set that is, or a theme like green-white, where it wants to play around a lot of small creatures. That's really strong. The balance of day and night is shattered. We must find the Moon Silver Key. So in the story we are looking for the Moon Silver Key. Pretty basic storytelling. Get an item and your characters have to look for it. Why we will probably see later. But as well, I saw that you said, Matt, that Falcon's Abominations flavor text is great. I noticed that you are into pretty great word jokes. I think I agree. So I think we're getting into... No, we are not. Here we have Outland Liberator, our first werewolf card actually in this werewolf set. This 2-mana human werewolf says for 1 mana you can sacrifice it to destroy target artifact or enchantment, which is a great effect. Just hold still, I will help you. It's a great effect on a 2/2 because it will always be useful. It's always a 2/2, and sometimes it can kill a really important card from your opponent, or one kind of curse that's on your side maybe. If you were wondering, in the art we can see this lady, I think, or whatever, is helping a wolf get out of a trap. So that's really kind of them. Just hold still, I will help you. And the trap, of course, is the artifact that she will be destroying. Randy Vargas, by the way. We will see them a lot, I think, today. But when it transforms, so I haven't explained day and night, but maybe we will do that now. Day and night, if you are familiar with the other Innistrad sets, it says if a player doesn't cast a spell during their turn, it becomes night, and when it's night, it says if a player casts at least 2 spells during their turn, it becomes day again. So in that way, it will switch from day and night. We have seen one other day and night card, but now you know how it works. As well, you can still sacrifice this wolf part that has become just 1/1 stronger to destroy a target artifact or enchantment. So it is still a trap breaker, but just a little bit focused on bigger traps. And whenever it attacks, you may also destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. I would prefer to do that. Even, well, maybe you want to sacrifice it to destroy target artifact or enchantment after it, so that you can be really fast with your destroying. That could be a possibility, but otherwise I think you would usually try to attack with it anyways. But another niche scenario is when you want to destroy an artifact or enchantment and your opponent has a lifelinker that's stronger. You can use this as well. But Randy Vargas, really cool, really kind pieces of art. Or like the people in his art, in the set, are really kind towards wolves at least. Let's continue. Ooh, this one I love. This one. Because of the flavor mostly. Heirloom Mirror is another day and night card, sort of. It's a 2-mana artifact which says speak my name thrice and be rewarded. Here we can see that this demon is trying to lure in someone to do something. let's say that, to say their name 3 times. A really popular musical as well, this one. But how do you do this? You pay 1 mana, you pay 1 life, you discard a card, you draw a card, and you mill a card, and then you may put a ritual counter on Heirloom Mirror. So you discard and draw, you pay 1 life, and you mill, and then you put a ritual counter on this. If it has 3 or more, so if you have said this demon's name 3 times, or this mirror's name 3 times, you may remove the counters and transform the card, activate only as a sorcery. Then when you transform it, it turns into... So remember, it was Heirloom's Mirror, something like that before. Now it's Inherited Fiend. So they did get this mirror from their parents or something, and now they have said the name 3 times, and it has become a 4/4 demon flying as well. That can exile target creature card, probably their whole family or something, to put a +1 counter on this demon. So it will grow. It's already a 4/4, which is really strong for such a small mirror that you just played. But it will take you a lot of time because you had to tap the mirror as well. But then it will grow and grow and grow. It's a card from a graveyard, graveyard. So you can also stop your opponent's graveyard stuff with this. Then the flavor says, well done, young fool. Well done. Now for your reward, which is to be sacrificed as well to this fiend. And we go on to Old Stick Fingers. Old Stick Fingers is a really strong card. I haven't seen it played yet, but it is a really strong card. You can see it from the amount of text that's on it. It's a green and a black and X legendary horror, so it can be your commander if you want. When you cast this spell, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards. Put all creature cards revealed this way into your graveyard. So not on the battlefield, not into your hand, but in your graveyard, but that is still always strong. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So you will filter out the creatures and get the other stuff into your library again. Old stick fingers, power and toughness are each equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. But to me, this is a little bit less important. If you run a reanimator deck with this or anything else that cares about the graveyard, then this is really strong. It can draw you a lot of creatures, and in these decks, usually I notice that in any green deck you want as much card draw as you can fit in there and still make strong creatures, and this one does those things, and I think that's really strong. And I think everyone does. So here we have another hand fetish card, which we have seen before. So a little bit of a double here. It's already bent, so for the foil test, this doesn't really work too well. I just got this yesterday and it is bent already. We have seen this before. What I think, which is a thing that's nice to notice, is that the moon is glittery as well, and I love that about foil cards. Is when they do a little bit of these effects, making, you see that the moon is glittering right there, and you have to focus a little bit less on this naked man without a thing. I think that there's a way to win with it for 4 mana and a reanimation spell. How? Oh, so if you have no other creatures, you only have this one, you can return it, it will die immediately, then you can mill out. Is that the thing? Maybe deal some damage? No, not sure. I don't think it mills in that case. So no, not sure how you would win this exactly, like in a combo. Right now, if I were making I keep forgetting the name. If I were making we'll get to the word later. If I were making it's not set, it's not draft, sealed. If I were making a sealed deck, I think blue would win, but we will have to see. We have a little bit of the green focus as well in our stronger cards. The black a little bit there, but blue has more playables right now, so it's probably better for now. You have like 2 creatures apart from old stick fingers. Not sure how you would win it. Then still. But let's get into this next pack while we think about that. I get to see the art card before you guys, but I won't spoil it. We have a cool token here, which is a wolf. It's by Andrea Redek. The wolf is just a 2/2. It's what you expect from a wolf. It's a bear as well, but it looks cool. It's a wolf howling against the moon, or like almost inside the moon, and we can see the other themes here as well. It's the candles from the witches, which are supposed to protect them, and then you see these red flags, literally, which are there as well. It's a little bit of a fall celebration kind of theme here, and I like it. A cool wolf token as well, something that's usable, because wolf tokens are a thing that happen a lot. So let's look at this. You will see the land behind it as well. It's a forest of them, but this is Insectile Aberration by Matt Stewart, which is a really crazy card art. Someone that has transformed themselves this much, that's now looking at the light, that's really going crazy. I think that looks cool. And fits the set as well. there. The land is from Dan Mumford. It's another one of these abandoned places. This time the woods are abandoned. And how can you see that a wood is abandoned? Because there are a lot of sticks around the forest, so that the forest has to be overgrown. But what's interesting about that is that we can see that a part of it is not overgrown anymore. So something big has to have run through this little forest here. Ooh, shadow stuff. So that's cool. We know that there's something big here. I think that's cool that they made it that way. Flip the Switch is a 3 mana instant which counters a spell unless its controller pays 4. So that's a lot of mana for a counter spell. Usually, well, it's not a lot, but 3 mana is almost the most that you want to pay for a counter spell. And their controller can still pay 4. So that's interesting. But it also lets you create a 2/2. I think the other one that we have seen with the upside was a little bit better than this. Yeah, that let you remove the creature into their owner's deck. Was better than this. But Flip the Switch, I mean, you probably still want to play it in your zombie deck. Works every time. Well, every time they don't explode. Anyway. By Borton, who is a Stitcher. Borton. Don't know if we know them. But this human, you probably won't recognize it anyways. It's a leg here, it's a head here, and it's an arm crooked like this. You can see that this human is having a lot of fun in this art. Let's call it that. But another blue one. It's Secrets of the Key. So we have seen the key before in the flavor. Now we are looking at Teferi and Arlen looking at the key. So we know that Teferi is going with Arlen until the end. It's a 1 mana instant which says Investigate. Investigate says to make a token that you can sacrifice for 2 and draw a card. If the spell was cast from a graveyard, investigate twice instead. So what it does is from 1 mana you can investigate, and then for 4 mana you can flash it back and you can cast it again to investigate twice. As Sigarda and Sorin battled, so we will get a battle between Sigarda and Sorin, Arlen and Teferi recovered the key from the Markov Catacombs, so we know where they need to go as well. So yeah, you will get those cards for your zombie commander deck. So which commander do you run for that? Consider another blue card. It's a 1 mana instant, so it's a kind of an opt. But this time instead of scrying, you get to look at the top card of your library and put it into your graveyard if you want. So it's Servile. And then you may draw a card. So Servile, then draw a card. Evoled, gasped, in surprise. Either a very strange insect had crawled onto one of the lances, or he was seeing geists at last. He's considering whether he's seeing an insect or a ghost. Probably. And they're really looking surprised. I think they did a great job. Seisao Shen again. Whoa, there's a crowd in my window right now. What are they doing? Go away. They will not go away. They will keep staring at me. I feel like I should show you as well, but let's just let them keep staring at me. Be uncomfortable. We're going to get a creepy stream here. Who's evil? I don't know. Probably from one of those small cute stories from Innistrad before, which is really what made the set great in my opinion. And I love Opt as well. Another blue card. Vivisection is a 4 mana sorcery. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature. Then you may draw 3 cards for 4 mana. That's okay. I mean, if you have very expendable creatures, that's great. But there were instances where you just had to discard one and you get to draw 4. So not the best, but still really strong. And I do see that blue has a lot of themes where they want to be controlling in this set. So though their work is widely reviled, Stitchers see themselves as being on the cutting edge of science. And the cutting edge of science means stitching wings to a human being, or zombie, which is also a human being if you think about it. What's cool too here is that we can see the masks from the witches. Witch? Cool, right? Witch? No, okay. But which means that they might have been vivisecting on a witch. That's just what I wanted to say. Another blue card? It's unbelievable. It's Scap Wrangler. It's a 2-mana human wizard who has zombie sims, which is what we came on last stream. What we landed on. Let's say that word. Tap 3 untapped creatures you control. Tap target creature. Why is this strong? Well, there usually isn't much use for these decayed zombies, except for attacking with them because they can't block. So, if you can use 3 of them to tap one other creature, then at least you have a continuable use for your zombies, which is really strong because you can get a lot of them. After Yuda's Hat boutique in Selhoff was destroyed by werewolves, she relocated outside of town and took up a new style of sewing. A new type, but same thing, I guess. Bird Admirer, a 3-mana human archer werewolf. So also these humans are almost always already a werewolf and then they turn into one. If you see that a human is not yet a werewolf and they turn, then that probably means that in the card they are being turned for the first time when it becomes night or when they transform. This one is a 1/4 with reach, which is kind of basic for archer humans or elves. She won't rest until she has collected specimens of every bird on Innistrad. And there are a lot of birds, which we probably will also get to see later. But they turn from an admirer into a shredder of wings. Not necessarily birds, mind you, only wings. So if, for example, where was it? The Stitcher from Vivisection succeeds in their work, then it might be that this ring shredder will kill that zombie as well, but it's a 3/5 with reach and that's it. Her hunger won't be sated until she's tasted every bird on Innistrad. So at first she wanted to get to know them, now she just wants to taste them. Not necessarily eat them, only taste. No worries. She just wants a little bite. And here we have our first, let's flip this around, alternate art that is not a land. It's a 3-mana human werewolf. The lands are also very cool, by the way. It's a 3-mana human werewolf, which is 3/2 with trample, so usually you will probably use this for only draft and sealed, but then it's really strong. And it looks cool. I think the coolest thing about this is that this guy looks more like a zombie. And that's really smart for a werewolf human to do. I mean, if you're a zombie, you will feel less like a threat to most humans on Innistrad. I mean, they deal with zombies all the time, and they won't think you are a threat. But you will still look scary for the usual human, so you might smell some fear in the night tonight. In the night's air tonight. But the other side of this card almost flipped it already, which would be a catastrophe. And I will put my microphone okay. That's okay. The other side is Harvest Tide Assailant. So it will become a 3 mana 4/4 with trample, which is not to be underestimated. On 3 mana for a 4/4 with trample, they probably won't be able to defend against this on turn 4 either. So that's really strong. Trample 4/4 makes for a good attacking creature. The arts here are from Sammy, I think. Makonnen, is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. Probably not said correctly, but you know what I mean. It's what the words say. Let's see if we can get in even closer here, because I like the effect it had just now. Is this better? Maybe a little bit. Let's get my foot out of there then. Okay. Great job, Daniel. You got your foot out. But a really red card. It's really big. It almost feels like a green card, and I think that's awesome for red cards in general. Really cool common. And yeah, maybe this is a thing for Pauper in a way. That would be cool if it would be played there. And also, I know that, and I said this before, but the moon and the sun signs that you see in the corner there are great too. Another card where you can see it here is Spellrune Painter. This was, by the way, our first red card, believe it or not. And here's a second. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Spellrune Painter gets +1/+1 at the end of turn. So it has prowess. The Painter... Oh wow, this is way better. Oh, don't ruin it. But the Painter has prowess. It's a 2/3 human shaman werewolf. Looks like she has blood on her claws already, and she has put some blood in her eyes as well. That must sting. But she also has given herself some, well, spell runes on her arm. And she painted it with blood, apparently, which is pretty metal, if you ask me. The other side is with double prowess, I think. Yeah. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So it's double prowess here. It's a 3/4 for the amount of mana that this costs. That's really strong. And it can get really big in spell decks. So if you have a spell deck, I would definitely consider this at least. I mean, it's not the strongest thing. It's still an uncommon, but double prowess in the prowess decks especially, I think this would be a great addition. Do watch out, because in the spell decks you will have a really easy time in turning it from night to day again. And yeah, the art is really cool. Definitely. Let's show you another one of them. I don't know why I pulled it away. It's Tireless Hauler. So it's not Tireless Tracker, it's Tireless Hauler. And why is he tireless? Because he does have a tire in his hand. Why is he tireless? He does have a tire. It's a 5 mana 4/5 with Vigilance, which is not... does not feel like a Vigilance type of stat line, but is really strong, because you probably will be able to attack into a lot of 5 mana cards with this. So you probably will get 1 or 2 strikes in with this, and if you can grow this, it's almost unstoppable. And now we will have to pull this away. The art, by the way, from Steve Ellis. The other side shows you a true tireless, dire strain brawler. This werewolf also has just vigilance, but it's a 6/6, so it will almost definitely be able to attack into your opponent and still defend really well against them. So vigilance, in my mind, always almost plays like something that's unblockable in a way, or evasive, let's say that. It isn't evasive. Your opponents will be able to block it just as easy as a normal attacker, but you will attack with it more easily because you don't need something to block. So that's how it works in my mind. It's not really true what I'm saying, but it does feel that way to me. And the art really feels like this werewolf just burst out of their human. It was already a big human, but now he has destroyed his own tire. And I think what's really funny about this is that his human side, his human side is dragging his wheel, let's say that then. And this one probably destroyed it again because he was sitting on his wagon and then he turned and then he was too heavy for his wagon. Then his wheel fell off. Now he has to carry it back again for the 100th time. He does have a wheel, but the wheel itself doesn't have a tire. Yeah, that's true. So let's say he has a wheel, but it's really hard to drive around in his carriage. Well, if he is a werewolf like this big, he can probably just carry his wagon. So I don't think he's too sad about that. Or should be. Rite of Harmony is our rare here. It's a 2-mana instant, green and a white. Whenever a creature or enchantment enters the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. So is that strong? Let's think about that for one moment. Is it strong in a dedicated deck? Yes, of course. But usually you this doesn't work at all from this close, but yeah, well, creatures aren't that small. But if you have a dedicated deck and you can make like 2-3 token creatures at one time after playing this instant, then it becomes a really great draw spell. But it is for the later game, and you will need a deck that is really working around this really well. I'm broken. It also has flashback, so you can use it later. I think it's a little bit of a later game thing. But let's say you have this in your hand, you draw a 1-mana creature. It's all of a sudden it turns into a cantrip as well. I think you could use it that way in mid-range like moments. But late game, it can really swing the game into your favor because drawing in this kind of deck is really strong. Especially if you can make tokens for free in a way. I think if you can make it that way, it becomes even stronger. And then we have the famous, no, it's not famous, Baneblade Scoundrel. Whenever it becomes blocked, the creatures blocking it get -1/-1 until end of turn. Look at the knife as well, it has shadow coming from it, it's purple. Remember that, it's a 4/3, so you will need 4 power to defeat this thing. Or if you are using multiple creatures, it becomes even harder because they will all get -1/-1. I was a mere cut purse until I learned the going rate for fresh corpses. So this one is probably working for the vampires because they want fresh corpses. Ooh, it's a traitor. And the other side is Baneclaw Marauder, which also has the purple things. Honest Claws, by the way, I think it was. Still has the same effect of -1, but whenever a creature blocking it dies, that creature's controller loses a life. They probably won't want to block this a lot because they will need 5 power to defeat this, and it's almost impossible with multiple creatures. The moon with this light does seem like a sun, but I still like that the moon is again the thing that is shiny, and the claws as well. Nice. Is there something else that is? No, mostly the claws and the moon are vibing. The second black card only, so that's how many blue cards we have gotten. Still, I do see that the rares and stuff are mostly in green. There's some cool and strong uncommon stuff in red. But no, blue is still the only color that's really fleshed out here. So for a sealed deck, blue is still the unfortunately only thing you can play here. Blue zombies. And why is it unfortunate? Because you don't really have other color support here, which you do want in a sealed deck. But there are way more than enough packs to turn that around. So I would be hoping for some green, good commons and stuff here if I were going for such a thing. We don't have a token here. We have Soul Catcher's Airy, which is from, which you can see here, from the mystery booster packs with art from Rob Alexander. Whenever a bird is, which are in Innistrad, I guess. Can you use these in sealed decks? I don't, but maybe you can. Whenever a bird is put into a graveyard from play, put a feather counter on it, and then all birds get +1/+1 for each feather counter on it. This card makes bird decks viable. I mean, if you could use it here with the birds, I would. But you probably can't, and I don't think that's a nice thing to do in any case. So, yeah, a little bit weird to get these, I think, but it's apparently something that Wizards want. It's on purpose, let's just say that. I don't know if they want it, but let's look at this. We have the mountain here. This art is from Field of Ruin from Chris Ostrowski, not the mountain. This is Field of Ruin, which is cool. We see the Abyssinian sign here. We see the weapons in the ground. We see that humans have fought here. We see the red theme in the background. We see the sun that is setting right now, like night is coming for a long time here, and the sigil is also broken and put into the dirt, showing us that this battle is fought a long time ago. But no one touched it because there are probably a lot of zombies here, so you probably don't want to go here. Field of Ruin shows us that Innistrad is in ruins right now after these previous battles. The mountain, which I sort of called Field of Ruin before, is from, I'm just going to remember it kind of. No, I can't. Daria Kilebnikova, sorry. But the mountain is cool, the art looks great too. The background really lets me think of a Van Gogh piece almost, which is really impressive. And I think the mountains in front make it even cooler like that. And yeah, makes me think. If you are on Innistrad, would the mountains be a good place to hide in? I'm not sure. Maybe they are, because zombies will probably roll down these very easily, and werewolves want to be in the woods. Vampires maybe can come up here if they want a castle there, but they want easy access to humans, so maybe go to the mountains if you are on Innistrad, if you turn into a planeswalker all of a sudden. We have Celestis Sanctifier as our first creature for this pack, which is a witch, kind of. It's a human cleric. It's a 3-mana 3/2, which says if it is neither day or night, it becomes day when this enters the battlefield, and whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, look at the top 2 cards of your library and you may put one of them into your graveyard. The other one will stay on top, so it will still be card selection, which makes this really strong, I think. It's kind of card selection in white, which you always need. Irina Nordsol is the artist of this one, and I think the pink themes in here are really needed in this set, because everything is so sickeningly red or green or it's black and really dark, and this makes this feel a little bit more hopeful in that sense. Our first white card as well, that's really from Innistrad. Crossroads Candle Guide. Does not really look like a guide, but it's a 4 mana 3/4 Scarecrow, which is apparently not used as a Scarecrow anymore. It's a Guide Crow. When it enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard, which is strong in this set because people want to get stuff out of their graveyard a lot. It is also color filtering, which is great for sealed, which in this box we will need. Do the Candle Guide's heads turn to follow you as you pass, or is it merely a trick of the flickering light? I think it's not a trick of the flickering light because this is a creature, so it is probably alive and it will probably be guiding you to somewhere where you don't want to go. But it will guide you. It's still a Candle Guide. Here we have Devious Cover Up, which I feel like I know. Is this a reprint? It feels like a reprint. Let's look at it. Devious Cover Up. On Scryfall, which I always use. I think they kind of deserve a shout out from me at this point because of how much I've used it. Yeah, and it is kind of from a Servile set as well, which was Ravnica, Guilds of Ravnica. It's a 4 mana instant. Counter target spell if the spell is countered that way. Exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. You may shuffle up to 4 target cards from your graveyard into your library, which is not always something that you want to use a lot, but not a strong effect, that last one. Exiling a spell that you counter is okay, but it's 4 mana for a counter spell, which is not the greatest. Devious Cover Up wants you to get rid of evidence of something. In this case, we want to get out of evidence of killing someone. Widow Weaver's new Scarecrow seemed to attract more crows than it's scared of. Little bit of the crow theme, but mostly the theme of people killing each other. And another blue card. Geist Wave. A 2 mana, which sounds really cool. A 2 mana instant, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So a bounce spell, if you controlled that permanent, draw a card. So if you want to protect your own creature with this, or other thing, you can also draw from this. Necro Alchemists gained popular support during the Travails. So the Travails are a word that the Innistrad people use to not have to talk about the things that happened with Emrakul, when Geist-fueled weapons helped defend towns against mad cultists and Eldrazi monstrosities. Okay, so Necro Alchemists were not very popular at first, but they did help really well with the Eldrazi because these are really big creatures and you probably won't be able to kill them with fire or burn damage spells. But bouncing them is a temporary solution at least. So I think that's why they became more popular. White card, better. 3 mana human soldier with ward. It's a 3/3 creature. Ward 1, so you have to play 1 mana to target this person. Looks really cool with the fire in the background and kind of they probably want to get attention from other humans. I think that's it. If it's neither day or night, it becomes day when it ends the battlefield, so it turns on your day and night cycle on the 3rd mana. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with mana value 3 or less from among them and put it into your hand. So kind of card draw in white. So yeah, this is really cool. It is looking for small creatures. It's a Gavany Dawnguard. You can see the fire in the background. It's indeed to attract more weak people to their castle, and they will enlist them in their army to defend the castle against all the monsters that are there. So cool card, cool concept, cool flavor. It's strong, it's necessary for white, and I like it. The art is really cool too. We have Mika Epstein actually here. Very should be famous guy. Yeah, I like it. It's orange, but it doesn't feel like the rest because it's an orange of hope. Let's say that. I like that about it. Sunset Revelry. It's a 2 mana, more white card, which says if an opponent has more life than you, you gain 4 life. So you gain 4 life with the drawback. If an opponent controls 2 or more creatures than you, you create 2 1/1s, which also feels white. Together, are they strong? No. If an opponent has more cards in hand than you, draw a card. That's what we need here. We see 3 card draw cards in white after each other. In the art, you can see that people are reveling in the sunlight that has come back. It's a story spotlight because of that, and the art is from Antonio Jose, I think, Manzanedo. The art is cool because we see the candles flickering in the background, and we see that people have come together to look at this little sliver of light. They are happy. They're going to celebrate. They are going to revel. We have another spell rune painter, which is indeed a cool art. You said it before. I didn't get it back on the camera. But we see it again. I think it's like we can also see that it's a shaman because it has like sticks coming from its back, and it's drawing in themselves with a stick as well. Let's see if we can see some themes in the art from the werewolf side. Well, what is interesting, which we probably didn't notice before, but this guy is burning a wheel. So it might be that they are friends or enemies with the hauler, who doesn't have a tire. Might be that they are friends. Might be that they are enemies for this guy burning their wheel. And now they are tireless. Maybe that's the lore. Maybe the tireless hauler did have a tire, but now it's being burned by the spell rune hauler. That would be sad. Sad day for the hauler. Kessick Naturalist. Take a sip of water. Whoa. Great. So, Kessick Naturalist is a 2 mana 2/2, which gives you mana when it attacks. That's it. On this side. But the art is really cute. You have the light, maybe the sunlight coming in. Probably actually, because otherwise it would be a werewolf again. And we can see that he is holding a little pup in their hand. And you might think that's cute, but it's really not. Because, yeah, if that would be his kid, let's not think about that. But they do make mana, which is cool. Always things that make mana are good. This one has to attack for it, which will probably get them killed. But as the Lord of the Ulvenwald, they have a grown-up, maybe mama wolf here as well. I declared canon. Which one? The baby wolf or the tireless hauler that gets his wheel burned? I hope that one. But Lord of the Ulvenwald is a werewolf lord, which is also in their name, but also because they make them a little bit stronger. Whenever it attacks, it still gets you 1 mana, red or green, and you don't lose the mana. So you can attack with it and you can use it in your second main phase. It's the use of that. But still strong. I mean, it's a ramp. And that's all we need to get more big werewolves in. And here we have our guy today. The guy of the day. Tireless Hauler. The champion of this set right now. Who we get to follow through an emotional roller coaster of losing his tire because he was too heavy. And then losing it again in the fire of a werewolf friend. It's a very sad story. It's kind of a drama, I would say. Dire Strain Rampage. a little bit of the strong parts of the set where we get to see that the werewolves are in fact being pushed. Which is necessary too. I want... see how we fix that. Maybe like... yeah. So it's a 3 mana sorcery, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. Already strong. But if a land was destroyed this way, its controller may search a new land and then 2 of them to put them into the battlefield tapped and shuffle. So you will only want to do that if you are attacking a really strong land. And I think that's good because land destruction is hated, and it's hated mostly because you lose your land, and that's a feel bad. If you didn't have any lands, it would really suck. But you still need land destruction because there are such strong lands in the game, and we need a way to remove them. So trading them in for 2 other lands that have to be basics is a great solution for that. You can also flash it back, so you can use it twice to destroy 2 artifacts, or maybe your opponent has 2 really strong lands. You can use it that way. But it's so flexible that it's great because of it. It's another story spotlight where we can see that the towns are almost finally being saved of zombies, and now they are being overrun with these werewolves who jump really fast, if we can believe this art, because we can see their movement is so strained even through this camera. The art is from Derek Sabrowski, I think is what, I can't read it from here. But it looks really realistic. It has to be done on the computer, otherwise I will cry. But looks really cool. And we see the fire. I don't know how these guys exploded something, but maybe the humans did that. And we can see that it is now canon that werewolves can climb buildings, which does make them a lot stronger than I told you in the werewolves suck video. But great card. And we have Morkroth Behemoth, which is a 5 mana 7/6. But you have to also sacrifice a creature or pay 2 mana, which makes it a 7 mana 7/6, which is not strong. So use it and sacrifice a creature for it. It also has menace, so it can trade positively, at least if you attack with it against some smaller creatures. Let's see my brothers Stitch Up Little Toys compete with this. So there has been a giant that was killed before, probably. And Gisa found it and made the ghoul her own. And now it's hers. Now she's going to attack her brother, who really makes toys at this moment. Ow. But these guys are cute together, and their story, I really like it. We got some more white cards here. Again, green not the best, but at this point, because of the stream, I would say that I would run green anyways because of the Tireless Hauler. Green, red, and the Spellrune Painter, of course, because of the lore it implies. And that's how I roll. We also have gotten some great werewolf synergies as well. So wouldn't be the best, I think, in this case, but I would still do it. Because of they are the main characters, so yeah. Important to give them some shine. Really need to tweet about this later. Ah! Sorry, cramp. Oh. So, sorry, didn't mean to scare you or anything. I had a long run yesterday, and it made my leg cramp up. So that's not nice. Oh. Okay. I was trying to have it in a good position as well. We don't really have a token, we have this. I don't know why this is here now. But it says, you can use this card to represent a double-faced card. So you don't have to flip it around. I think that's the case or something. Maybe. Or maybe, oh, I can see how you use this. So if you have these cards in your deck and you don't want to show people that you have a flip card, you can write them both down and you know both sides, and then you can remember the effect, something like that. But I don't use these things, probably. Though I don't know how to use those, let's say that. But I will show you the mountain and the art card at the same time again. It's Creeping In from Daniel Ljunggren. And the mountain beside that. Because no way to not spoil that, I think, without putting this down like this. Can we... We can't. It's a thing in the swamp. It was a house. It was a kind of castle, a manor, if you so want to call it. And it has awoken. It has gotten trees under it, and now it is coming to do some stuff. It doesn't really look too dangerous, but it might be coming from for your own home and assimilate it. Maybe that's its goal. I think that would be pretty scary, and not really much to do about it, I think, without a lot of fire magic. So, yeah, really weak creature in Innistrad. No, I don't think it's weak per se, but it isn't dangerous for humans. So that's a positive on Innistrad. Let's get these out maybe, because it feels... So, did we have this one before? I think so. Oh no, we had another mountain before. In this case, our abandoned place is from Dan Mumford. It's another mountain, but this is not a mountain, it's a pass through the mountains that is important. And it has been, well, abandoned, and I think it's because, well, the feeling of falling down a cliff is horrible, but falling down a cliff on Innistrad means that you will get eaten later as well, so you probably don't want to get stunned there, the least. Bounding Wolf is a 3 mana flash reach 3/2 wolf. Trying to find my other lands to put this in. There we go. It is fighting a little bat here. One moment. Let me try. Yeah. Sorry. With their usual prey scared off by werewolves, the wolves of Olvenwald adopted inventive new hunting techniques. So this is cool. I mean, if you are a vampire, you will probably want to turn into a bat. If you are being attacked by a lot of hungry werewolves. And if you are a wolf, you will be eating the bats. So as a vampire, this is saying that you are... There's no place where you are safe. That's what this is saying. To me. What a green card. And we needed those. And another green card is Pestilent Wolf. Which is... Do you know that sound? It's a great sound. And I don't have to show the brand today. Awesome. Wolves that feast on zombie flesh and survive carry the foul... Another foul word. Carry the foul diseases of the dead wherever they roam. So you can see that they are carrying some sludge from this zombie. And there's a human behind them, which is probably not safe. But the foul flesh of zombies costs 3 mana and then it gains Death Touch. So you can attack in with this, keep 3 mana open, and your opponent will not want to block this too much. And defend with this as well in the same manner, and scare your opponents off, which is mostly the most important part about these effect kind of creatures. And I think this one does it well. We have Snarling Wolf from Ilsegord, who we did a deep dive on. Snarling Wolf gets +2/+2 for 2 mana extra until end of turn. and you can only activate it once each turn. So play pattern would be play this on 1, attack with the 3/3 on turn 2. Oh, thank the angels, it's not a werewolf, it's just a regular That was Bruno Ulvenwald Guide last words. And they didn't even get to finish his last word. He only had to say ugh. Which is funny because if you say ugh, you sound a little bit like a dog. Or at least I find that funny, okay? Blessed Defiance is a 1 mana instant which gives your creature +2/+0 and lifelink. It doesn't protect them, which the sign used to do. In this case, it just gives them lifelink, a little bit of hope, perhaps. When a creature dies this turn, you get a spirit. So Blessed Defiance does protect them in a way because they will return as a spirit. It just doesn't protect their actual mortal bodies anymore. If I'm going to take you with me. Which is true for the effect as well because it gets +2/+0 as well. And it doesn't protect them. I think that's important too. It doesn't protect them anymore, it doesn't give them immortality or anything, but it does give them hope and it does give them attacking power. And the flavor shows it as well. It doesn't protect them, they don't want to be protected, they just want to take their opponent with them. So cool, Defiance. Sounds like Defiance as well, the mechanic. We have our first bird card, which is Omnious Roost. 3 mana enchantment. When it ends the battlefield or whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, you may create a 1/1 bird. This creature can only block creatures with flying. So ravens apparently have this new mechanic where they can only block creatures with flying. Other birds probably in this set. 1 raven is a bad omen because there are not too many flying creatures here. 2 are a curse. I don't know what this is, but it can be good. It's a roost. Verna, Priest of Sigarda. So they are a priest, they are seeing a lot of ravens, like at least 20 is what I count in this art. And we can see the classic horror houses with the orange light and the orange moon with the themes of this set, which are orange mostly. For the orange, not anymore for the pumpkins, not anymore for Halloween, but for the pumpkin spice, which it stands for. Which are meant to give us a warm, fuzzy feeling inside. Faithful Mending, 2 mana instant is you gain 2 life, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. It's a faithless spin-off for 2 mana, and this one has flashback, so there are some more flashback cards and there are some synergies with it as well. What has been looted, so from faithless looting we see the word looted as well in the flavor, can be restored. The church lives on within us. So it won't really be restored. We can see that the Abyssinian sign is made from different materials than usual, and it has been stitched together in this case. We see the candles as well around these people, making them at least feel protected, which is cool too. I will, if it's possible, change the music a bit. This one. Can go a bit louder. Because you don't notice it, but I do, and the music had just turned around and started playing again. Yeah, I heard a lot of people liking that this came back. Personally, I would have liked this in red. Faithless Looting is what made red feel really good, and this in blue-white isn't really that special mechanically. But they needed to put it in blue-white because it fits the color better, which I do like that they are faithful to that. So they had not much of a choice, and it does reflect on the story as well, so I can imagine that they had a hard choice with this one. Shady Traveler. It's a 3 mana human werewolf, so another flipper here. It's a 2/3 with menace, so doesn't feel like a mana stat line again, but that is because they will transform into one. The stranger spoke to no one, and the townspeople gladly returned the favor. So they didn't talk with him because he was shady. They don't trust people. I wouldn't trust people if I was on Innistrad either, so I think that's legit. The art from Lee, Sechuan, and the stranger turns into a stalking predator. Why is he stalking? Well, because he doesn't like talking. But it's a 4/4 with menace. Tomorrow, a new village and new victims. So he comes in, he doesn't talk with anyone, he just goes around, feels cold, and then he turns into a naked werewolf, and he will probably wake up really cold as well. Or maybe he doesn't because he has done so many sports at night. And then he turns to a new village again. I don't know why I do this every time. But a Lunarch Veteran is a 1 mana human cleric. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. That's a white card for you. That's what we expect. But it also has Disturb. For 2 mana, you may return this card from your graveyard transformed. Even in our darkness. Oh no, it says darkest times. Avacin's light will guide us. So we see a little bit of a split between 2 faiths here. Avacyn is gone. Some people still believe in her. Some people have turned to Sigarda because she has stayed around for those people. But when you disturb this corpse for 2 mana, it turns into Luminous Phantom. So the light of Avacyn will guide our way. He died, so he didn't believe in Avacyn anymore because apparently he died. Now he will be the guiding Phantom. Whenever another creature you control leaves the battlefield, you gain 1 life. The funny thing about this is a lot of spirits are also using their light to lure in people and then kill them. So on Innistrad you will never know whether to follow a light or not. But when one of these spirits would die, they won't return to your graveyard anymore, because that would be a little bit too strong. In this case, they will be exiled. Because otherwise you can keep paying 2 and then they can keep returning. So that would be a little bit too much. It's the same with... I did this again. But we have another repeat, which is Harvestide Infiltrator. So we'll go over this one a little bit more quickly. And not flip it around even. We have another, and I did this again. We have another blue-white card in... Sorry. Here's Danik up close, and here he is not up close. Good. Danik Pious Apprentice is a 2 mana human soldier. It's a 2/3 with lifelink. Cards in graveyards can't be targets of spells or abilities. And when it dies, you may disturb it for 4 mana, so it's a really expensive spirit side. Now I need to put this away to flip it around. And this rare spirit for 4 mana turns into Danik. So he's still Danik because he's a legendary, so he will keep his own name. Pious Apparition. It's a flying 3/2. Whenever 1 or more creature cards are put into the graveyard from anywhere, investigate. That's a really strong effect. Investigating each time essentially enables you to make to draw a card, and it's still an artifact that is sometimes useful as well. It has the spirit class, let's call it that, where you have to exile it when it dies. But a really strong effect. If you can use this well, that would be cool. You can use this in Commander as well, because if it would die, you can also send it to the command zone. Right? Isn't that just the name of the YouTube channel? I don't know. But we can see the band already for our uncommon foil, which is Thermo Alchem. which is a reprint of Thermal Alchemist. A 2-mana human shaman, a 0/2. It deals 1 damage to each opponent whenever you tap it, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you may untap it. Pretty fast in standard, so you probably will see this a lot in the Spellslinger decks. Madness. So Madness is another throwback to a previous mechanic from here, of course. Can't touch a mind ignited by genius. So, but it does. It really does touch his mind because he is mad. We have seen some more cool white cards and green cards, some of them, like 2 wolves or something. So getting a little bit more out of the singular will of the blue color. Let's do a little bit of a break here, get some coffee, get some water, get some sustenance in general, and then I will return in a little bit and raise up the music. Don't want to do this as a jump scare, but here you go. Did you get your coffee? I'm becoming faster at this, not because I'm faster, but because I got a new machine for my coffee. That's it. That's the whole reason. We have 4 more packs to go, so let's do 2 or 3 more before the next little breaky break. Little breaky breaks, right? I know. And we can do some more in the future because they are so short. We have a backside of Magic X designed by humans, which I don't think I like. The fact that the photo on the shirt is so perfectly square. That looks a little bit weird. Looks a little bit too hard, like you are trying to be a fan. But go ahead if you want to try that hard. I think there are cooler shirts. We have a spirit token, another different kind of token. We have had all different kinds of tokens here. So let's turn down the music a little bit too. For myself, mostly. And I think something happened here too. Our spirit token is a 1/1 with vying. It says a spirit token should be. It is new art from Kim So Cole, I think. And the spirit looks like it's fading away, which is perfect. Their hair are wisps too. So maybe all the pointy things are supposed to be wisps. But spirits, another type of creature that are really prevalent on Innistrad. Spirits can be good or bad, so not all things are dangerous to humans. And werewolves, which we see here as well, are usually bad as a wolf and good as a human to humans. This one is Primal Adversary from Ilsegord, which has eaten a human or was a human, and his head is laying on the ground, something like that. The wolf is coming up in your house. Ooh, that's bad news, man. Jump out of the window, it's your only way to run. I think it's great. Ilse, of course, being great at making simple things unsimple. What this does is it makes you think about the places where you usually feel safe, which is also your bedroom, and you are not safe there either. Wolves can climb stairs, which my dog never could, which I was sad about usually. The island is from Evan Kegel, I think. It shows us a wave crashing into the mountains. It shows us a human, I think, who's flashing his torch and a kind of mountain in the background. We see also again the kind of whirling clouds here as well, making it look like a painting, which it is. Shipwreck Sifters, another one of the drowned sub-theme. It's a 2-mana creature spirit. When it ends the battlefield, draw and then discard. So looting in this set is cool because you need things into your graveyard. And whenever you discard a spirit card, so you can choose what you discard, you can discard a spirit or a card with Disturb, which are also almost always spirit kind of cards. You may put a +1 counter on Shipwreck Sifters, making these kinds of decks way stronger. A loyal crew sticks together even after death. So this crew of sifters will stay together even while they're dead. And then they will stay really close together because we can see that all of these hands are from different humans. So it's 8? No, it's 4 humans together in one spirit, which I wouldn't want, but this crew, they are so close together in life, they want to be together in death too. Plummet is a classic flying destructive spell. This one does not pierce, it just grows flower in the flying creature. It's a 2-mana instant, destroy target creature with flying. A creature of stone was never meant to fly, and I see the open world agrees with me. Alana, Kessig Ranger. So it is not a human that did this, it's just the Ovenwald, the forest, the big forest of the big forest of Ovenwald that is trying to destroy stone flying creatures. It's not destroy an artifact, it's only flying, but apparently the forest can do this. Or maybe it was a witch and they are saying they are doing it in the name of the forest or something. Stormrider Spirit is what I was talking about when I said that spirits could lure in humans with their lights. The wary travelers mistook the flickering lights of the candle guide pointing the way to Harvesttide. Their relief turned to terror as lightning lit the sky. It's a 5-mana flash flying. That's a 3/3. Probably used to destroy some birds. Not really humans, but you can use it for small humans as well. And then it's still a flying 3/3, which is usable. I usually don't think these are really strong, but the flavor is cool. I think that's the most important here. Soul Guide Gryph. So we see a lot of these gryphs, these hippogriffs, which are kind steeds that want to help and are really loyal to their riders, which is admirable. This one, a 5 mana 3/4, which is infinitely more usable already. When it ends the battlefield, exile up to 1 target creature card from a graveyard, which is also useful here. It conducts the soul of the righteous to their blessed rest and the spirits of the evil to justice. So an anti spirit kind of card, probably. To not let them be too strong, but also to conduct their souls to the blessed rest. So it's cool that this is an anti-spirit card that helps them, helps guide them to a good death. Sunrise Cavalier. A 3 mana 3/3. Good. It's in Boros. It has trample and haste. If it's neither day or night, it becomes day when it ends the battlefield, and whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, put a +1 counter on target creature you control. Okay. So it can make other creatures stronger as well. Like us, the morning fights for survival. So they see the Sunrise Cavalier sees the sun as their ally. And I think that's true. And what's interesting here as well is these kinds of flares in the background, because we have seen these before in Gavany Dawnguard. So maybe that's the case here as well. Maybe there's a theme in red and white where the lights in the background are like this. Maybe these are the candle guides. And it all works together with cycling of day and night as well. I think that's interesting. We'll have to look into that later. Sacred Fire, another Boros card. Sacred Fire, famous wording, but it's a 2 mana shock that gains you 2 life as well, so a weaker lightning helix. And you can use it again for 6 mana, which is a lot, but maybe that's because it would be a 4 damage lightning helix for 4 otherwise, but would not be too strong either. But it's a flashback card. There are some synergies in there. Do not confuse justice with mercy, says Odric, a very famous person of the Order of Saint Theft. Do I like this? Not sure. I like lightning helix better, I think, because 3 damage is way better than 2. But the art is cool. Tavern Ruffian is a 4 mana werewolf human. It's a 2/5, so 4 mana, 2/5. She dispatched every challenger with a sickening snap of bone. So crushing their bones. She is looking very happy about it. She's looking a little bit wild as well, which is, I think, on purpose. And the bone crusher woman turns into Tavern Smasher, which says, with every arm inside broken, she turned her attention to the furniture. So it wasn't enough to break all the arms. Now she is breaking the whole tavern. You won't want this person in your tavern. We have Bird Admirer again, but I did it again. We have Bird Admirer again, but this time in another kind of art. So it's the 1/4 with reach. It becomes a 3/5 with reach, but this time we see that she is wearing a bow and arrow already, a crossbow, I think. Which you wouldn't say of someone who wants to catch birds to look at and admire, but we see a little bird in the right backside as well, which is cool, appropriate, but she also kills them already, and she kills more of them. We have seen that before as well. And here is the alternate, I did it again, the alternate art for that. which shows us one bird flying in the background, flying away, a feather falling to the ground, and a pretty normal werewolf as well. Seemingly very aggressive, but looks to have the braids still. That's an interesting thing. If you turn into a werewolf, you will keep your braids, apparently. Otherwise, just looks like a wild werewolf that is just enjoying their time, to be honest. And then let's look at our friend again. Our friend is back, wearing his tire. He is tireless, he won't get tired. He has a tire, and let's hope he will get his tire back later as well. I think that's all we need to say about our dude, tireless Harler, really. Shipwreck March. That's really strong. For land, I think. It ends the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. So if you have 2 lands, it will come untapped, and then it's a dual land, which be there. And here we have Diagraph Horde. So Diagraph is another famous group of zombies in this case. It's a 5 mana zombie, it's a 3/4. When it ends the battlefield, you create 2 zombies with decayed. So the other one would create 2 normal zombies, I think, and when you attack, it does it again. This one creates them with decayed. When you do, you also may exile up to 2 target cards from graveyard, so you can use this as graveyard hate as well. Why do you use it like that? Because you use other people's graveyards for your horde. Why does this become a horde? Apparently this zombie has learned how to wake other zombies, and I think that's a strong thing for a zombie to know. And if he can teach his other zombies this as well, this will become a really strong horde, I think. It's mostly the beginning of a horde that just needs to become more strong in the future, but we already call it a horde because we know it will be one later. Ooh, haven't seen this before. I don't know if I should be enthusiastic, to be honest. What is it, you might ask? It's a magic minigame. It says day versus... Wait. Kind of a little bit of small words. Day versus night, it's 2 players, you need 2 packs and 5 minutes. Become a defender of the day or a monster of the night in this rock, paper, scissors style game. Doesn't sound too great, but get ready. Randomly determine who will use the power of day and who will use the power of night. Each player opens a booster, so it's a pretty expensive game, and sets aside any cards without magic card packs. Well, okay. Let's play. Players look at their hands, pick 3 cards, and then place their picked cards in a face down row in front of their opponent's row. Okay. Players reveal the pairs of cards from day players left to right simultaneously. Winning cards are decided as follows. Red beats green, green beats blue, blue beats red. Okay, so it's literally rock, paper, scissors. White is always a winning card for the day player, but it's always a losing card for the night player. So why would you play that? You choose 3. Why would you not pick a white card if you are day? Huh? Players may look at their hand, then they pick 3 cards. Why would you pick those cards? And black's always winning for night, but it's always losing card for day. What? I don't think they thought about this game. Is there another one? Oh wait, there's more. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Paired red, blue, or green cards result in a tie. What? Oh, if they are the same, yeah, okay. A winning white card versus a winning black card results in a tie. Oh, so you will probably always want to use those. A losing white card versus a losing black card results in a tie. What? A multicolored card is a single color of its own choice, declared after it's revealed. That's strong, I guess. When a colorless card is revealed, lands are colorless. Its owner immediately replaces it with a card from their hand before deciding the winner. Discard the colorless card afterward. If two colorless cards are paired, players reveal their replacement card simultaneously. If two okay. Huh. Oh, play 2 more rounds, but for the third round, players lay down 6 cards. So you need to lay down 12 cards in total, meaning that you will probably eventually have to use your white cards if you are playing knight. Okay. And you have to have the most winning cards after 3 rounds. Okay, I get that then. Huh. It's a little bit of a longer game and it takes a lot of cards, but I guess if you're doing like a draft thing or anything like that, then it's maybe fun. Or basically only sealed actually. Here we have a land for our art card. It's Deserted Beach by Jonas Rowe. I think that's the blue-red one. Is that a one that is there? Or it does seem a little bit like a blue-black one as well. We can see in this art that we had the blue-black one already. No, so I think it's blue-red then or something. But anyways, it's a beach that has been deserted. I think the flavor for this one was that zombies are coming out of the water as well in this case. So it's a little bit of the same kind of flavor, but I wouldn't go to any water. I think that's the point. The mountain here, we have seen this one. Now I know for sure because we have seen 2 mountains already. So it looks beautiful, but let's skip past it then. Thraben Exorcism is another story spotlight card where it's not really a spotlight of the story itself. It's more that we see what Kaya can do on Innistrad. Well, she can destroy spirits very easily. What she says is you may exile target spirit creature with disturb or enchantment. Chandra, Teferi, and Arlinn sought clues to the Moonsilver Keys whereabouts while Kaya dispatched the spirits obstructing their path. So the story goes as follows. Like Arlinn needs a lot of help, so she gets her 3 friends. Then she runs through Innistrad, you get to see a lot of stuff there. And then her friends one by one get dropped off and you get to see some of their combat abilities, and that's how it goes. Another spirit hate card as well, which we see a lot of here. Locked in the Cemetery. 2 mana enchanted creature card, so it's an enchantment. When it ends the battlefield, if there are 5 or more cards in your graveyard, you may tap the creature and the creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. So it's a free spell. In this case, it's not freezing the creature really, it's locking them up. Help! I'm not a zombie, let me out! They don't seem like a zombie. Why did they get locked up in the cemetery? Well, to become a zombie, probably. And they probably weren't nice. Duress, a really cool art here from Paul Scott Canavan. It's a 1 mana sorcery which you probably already know, but target opponent reveals their hand and you choose a non-creature non-land card from it. That player discards that card. So you get to choose, which is important for these Duress cards. The Voldaren, which are a vampire family. Torture Pits are so expensive. They don't cost much, but they are big, that prisoners have a nasty tendency to be forgotten for years. So here we see one that is still alive, but has been there for years, forgotten in these webs of chains. Maybe they will be used again. Not sure if that's better or not. Phantom Carriage. It's a 6 mana flying 4/4. Flying 4/4 is always good. So it's a 1 mana more air elemental. When it enters the battlefield, you may search the library for a card with flashback or disturb. Put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. You will be able to use those cards because they both have abilities that let you return them or use them again. Passage to the Abyss is free, but the return trip will cost you. So not sure why you would go to the Abyss, but maybe it's because you want to be a spirit. Maybe you were jealous. Root Coil Creeper. It's a 2 mana plant horror, a blue-green one, meaning that it's a little bit of an abomination, but it's a 2 mana dork as well for any color, and you may also tap it for 2 mana of any color, but then you can only spend this mana to cast spells from your graveyard. So blue-green is apparently also a flashback pair, and for the same 2 mana you may exile it and return target card with flashback you own from exile to your hand, so you may use it 2 more times. So really strong. Well, it's not really strong, but I mean, it's a mana dork and you can still use it because it probably will get killed really soon, because this is a lot of ramp in your specific flashback or spirit deck. We have Winterthorn Blessing, which is also in the same colors, blue and green. Put a +1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control, which is worth like a little less than a mana. Tap up to 1 target creature you don't control and the creature doesn't untap, which is worth like 2 mana already, I think. Maybe. It also has flashback, so you can use it again. I think this card is really strong, therefore. And that's all I have to say about it. I mean, it semi-removes the creature. You get to grow your own creature. And Winterthorn Blessing, I think, says when it gets cold, your tree will still survive, but another tree will be frozen. I think that's the kind of karma thing that we want to say here. Maybe it's like you get to freeze these spirits, because these are spirits, which the green stuff you see there. You get to freeze these spirits in a tree, but the tree will survive and will get stronger. I think that's the flavor here. Devoted Gravekeeper is a 2 mana human peasant. When it enters the battlefield, you may mill 2 cards. Oh, you don't. It's not may. You will mill 2 cards. Whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, you may tap target creature you don't control. So another Spirit Synergy card here. And when it is in your graveyard, you may disturb this Devoted Gravekeeper, and it will become Departed Soulkeeper with its own griffin, which is supposed to be loyal. But maybe the human from before was so devoted because he wanted to be there for his friend. This one is a 3/1 that can only block creatures with flying. Won't want to block with the flying 3/1 too much, but perhaps. If it would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, you have to exile it. So, what was it? It was 2 mana, then it costs 3 mana more to make a 3/1 flying. I don't think that's the best thing, but maybe you can use it. I did it again. It's a 4 mana Dawnheart Rejuvenator. This is a witch that ends the battlefield and you gain 3 life. It's a 4 mana, it's a 2/4, and then you may add 1 mana of any color. I don't like those too much because they try to do everything, but they only do stuff halfway. Yeah, I don't really like the mechanic here, what they do with diluting these dudes. We have our second Danik actually, so the second time rare that we get in Danik, Pious Apprentice. We have seen what he does before, but here we get to see an alternate art. We get to see that this Pious Apprentice has a shield in the foreground, showing us that he doesn't really like to be aggressive too much, but he does want to protect his people. And then, and the dead probably. And then we see the other side, which is when he becomes a ghost. And we see him up close here as well. The previous time we saw him from a little distance away. Whoop, now we see him really close up. In his previous art, we have seen his shield as well, by the way. But here you can see him from far away. And we did see what he did before. We don't see his shield as much in the foreground. We see some arrows in them, which is a type of staple in for spirits. And we can see that he can get a clue token once every turn if a creature is put into the graveyard. So it's kind of investigating about them, I would say, or maybe knowing about them because he is a spirit as well. And we have another rare in Sludge Monster, which is a 5-mana horror. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, put a slime counter on another target creature, if you want. Then non-horror creatures with slime counts on them lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 2/2. So this is good in 2 ways. It helps you turn your zombies with the gate into 2/2 zombies or 2/2 slime creatures, which makes them able to defend and which makes them able to survive combat if you want. So that is an ability that you can use, but usually it's probably stronger to use this to disable a strong creature from your opponent, make it less big, make it smaller, and erase their abilities. I think that's the usual thing that you will use this for, and I like it because of it. Tracking it isn't the hard part. The hard part is you won't be able to fight this very much. So again, you will need a lot of mana, a lot of spell power to defeat this sludge monster. Cool. And another one, because in these set boosters you also get a foil card. This one is Ardent Elementalist. It's a 4-mana human shaman. When it enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. While the Dawnheart witches focus their magic on nature and community, they almost spat. Other covens consort with devils and twist the elements to their will. Almost saying like that's the better way to go. Or it feels like they are saying it like that way. And it maybe is stronger. At least it is strong against nature witches because you can put their trees on fire. What is the list? Oh dear. 1 in 4 set boosters contain a card handpicked from Magic's history. Is it only... Yeah, only set boosters, yeah. So that's a choice, that's a choice. Token is another spirit token, the Wispy Lady. It would be a cool name for a spirit. Oh, at least it wasn't a bad thing that this one fell. Because I should show you the forest. Because we're going to turn this ring shredder around from Slauwemir Maniac. We have seen Wind Shredder at least twice before. And here they are in their full art. A Let's see, where are they? Here's one. Two times. 2 times before, here's their full art. Where we can see the birds that the first one gathered are being slashed away. I can't imagine that they were happy with their birds being slashed away by their werewolf side. Little bit of a sad story actually. The forest here is from, I think we have seen this forest before. Yeah, it's from Dan Mumford again. Oh yeah, with the part where the forest was opened by a big creature. And we can see a man in the distance, by the way. Making me think that this man is in fact a werewolf. With their Dan behind them. Flare of Faith is new. It's 2 mana instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn for 2 mana. If it's a human, instead give it +3/+3 and indestructible, which is a strong side. Indestructible and +3/+3 is not bad for 2 mana. It's still on the green level. We can see that the Flare of Faith is a ball of light around them and is scaring away all of the werewolves and the bat as well, which was apparently also just there. I fell to my knees, I called out to Sigarda, and then I saw my tormentors blaze with blessed sunlight. So they were turned ablaze. Candlegrove Witch is a strong 2 mana 2/2 for in drafts and in sealed. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, it gets flying until end of turn. So when you have Coven, you can attack in with a 2/2 with flying. Like 1,000 candles, finding back the darkness, we are strongest when we stand together. So the Coven, we can really see that they are about being together. They are strongest, but they don't really get too much stronger usually. Some of them do increase other Coven members' strength, but most of them gain more magical powers. And this one as well, and being able to fly is a strong effect in Magic. Hedge Witch's Mask, which we have seen in a story before, where they were trying to get a snake monster out of the ground. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. It's a 1 mana equipment that costs 2 to equip. But also, equipped creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 4 or greater. So if it has 4 toughness, it will win against the other creature probably. In Keswick, even celebrations wear a fearsome face. So I was tweeting about that as well. I think I didn't notice that the flavor said this. But that if in Innistrad they are celebrating something, it's probably also because there's something horrifying happening. And that was true in this story as well. Won't spoil too much other than that. Turn the Earth is a 1 mana instant. Choose 3 target cards in graveyards. The owner of those cards shuffle them into their libraries and you gain 2 life. And you can flash it back. Mostly important I think for the spell part, and that it's a flashback card. Which we did see in the blue-green archetype as well with the Root Coil Creeper. Here you have it. Turn the Earth, I think usually you would only use this as graveyard hate, but that's also important in the set, and otherwise you can make your deck just a little bit better if there's something important in your graveyard, and maybe if you're a combo deck, but that probably won't be in green too much. Rise of Ants is a 6 mana sorcery where you can create 2 3/3 green insect creature tokens and you gain 2 life. The life gain is a little bit weird to me. It feels like green gets to do something strong and gets the white advantage as well. But 6 mana for 2 3/3s is not the best, but it's still okay. And it fits the multiple themes of green, which is in this case a lot of creatures or big creatures. And it has flashback for 8, so it fits into the flashback theme. And costs a lot, which is, I think, appropriate for this card. Harvestite Infiltrator is a trample werewolf. For 3 mana, it gives you a 3/2 with trample. He was one masked stranger among many. Blending in was child's play. So people could see from his face that he was a werewolf, but because he was wearing a mask just like the others, people couldn't see that. And the other side, the more werewolfy side, from Matthias Kolros, is Harvestite Assailant. He turns into someone that is fighting the other Harvestite people, and he turns into a 4/4. We have seen this card before as his alternate art, I believe. Yep, twice, right? And now we know why they looked like a zombie, by the way. It's because of the mask. That was the reason why they were trying to imitate the zombie. When Tovalar's howl sounded from the woods, it was answered from the heart of the festival. So we know that Tovalar is trying to attack the witches, and we now see that he indeed does. And it's a strong card for 3 mana, it's a 4/4. So if you can get it on the night side, it's a strong card. Guildrifter is a 4 mana hippogriff. With flying, it's a 3/2. If you're lost in a storm, follow a griff. So we know that the lights seem to guide people, but they often lead to death. These griffins are a true guidance. If you see one, follow it. They always know which way calmer waters lie. Gior, cool name. Havengul Fisher. So it's a 3/2 for 5 mana. You can disturb it. It becomes a 2/2. And it is, instead of, what was it before? Guildrifter, it's a Willdrifter. It's a crying griffin. It's crying and flying. If it would be exiled, if it would die, you will have to exile it. So it becomes less strong, but you can use it again. Wait, that's no griff. At least not anymore. So always follow the griff, and apparently griffs aren't safe either to follow, says Gior Havengul Fisher. Okay, so nothing is safe again. I thought we were safe with this one, but no, griffins are not safe either. Burly Breaker is a new card, and it's a beautiful one again. It's a 6/5 with ward. It doesn't have anything else. It's a 5 mana 6/5, but it can be a 5 mana 8/7, which is probably also just a big dude. Yes, but their ward becomes bigger with 1. Dire Strain Demolisher. Not sure why it protects itself. No, really not sure. But it's just a big dude. It protects itself, and it's probably better than the big dude from the basic set. What was it called again? Dungeons and Dragons something into the dungeon. Curse of Obsession is a 5 mana rare enchantment aura curse. It says, enchant player at the beginning of enchanted player's draw step, that player draws 2 additional cards. Seems okay. At the beginning of enchanted player's end step, that player discards their hand. Okay, so it's not too good, but it could turn around on you. It is especially strong against a deck that is trying to get 13 cards. He ripped up board after board until his hands were bloody. Still, he could not find whatever it was he sought. So it's a curse of obsession, but maybe you're not really obsessed with something, you just feel obsessed. So you start looking for stuff, and then you throw everything away that you have found, and you destroy everything you have found, and you just will never find what you were looking for. That's a gruesome curse that I am also under. Because I play Magic. We have Catilda Dawnheart Prime. It's a Coven card, I hope, kind of. It's a green and a white for a legendary human warlock. It has protection from the werewolves. Human creatures you control have add 1 mana of any color of the creature's colors. That's a strong effect. I think I would play humans with this with this card, as it turns everything into a ramp card, into a mana dork. And for 6 mana, which you can pretty easily get, you may put a +1 counter on each creature you control. So this definitely wants you to go white. I really like this. It's only 2 mana, and it is a mana dork itself. Yeah, it gives itself the power as well to tap for mana. The angels may have abandoned us, but Grin Danu has not. Sorry, I don't know who this is. Grin Danu. I need to look this up. Sisters. Oh, it's in the story. Huh? I did read this one. I just talked about it. Let's see. Grin. Oh, Catilda was from the story. I didn't know this. Oh. So. Yeah, I don't know if you have read the story. But okay. Grindanu. Fun. That she is a card. But definitely read the story Sisters. And you will know about this one. Let's just say that. Okay. But I like it. I like the strength of this card. And it's a strong ramper in the Witches deck or in the Humans deck, if you want to call it. I would say that we have gotten a lot more strong green stuff. But it's not really focused in the multicolored part, but we have a lot of playables there as well. Raise the Effigy. It's a 1 mana instant. Choose one, destroy target artifact, or target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Okay. Probably won't want this. The folk of Keswick build up their courage by burning effigies of the things they fear. I think there are more cards that show this, but I think it mostly makes you feel scared. But maybe because of you seeing these creatures so much and in these horrible, burning, grotesque forms, you will become less fearful of the real thing. I think that's literally what the flavor says too, but maybe it works. I don't think so. But last pack, and we didn't do a new break. I really always say that I will do more breaks, but I don't know. I just like unpacking too much. We have the magic minigame, the famous magic minigame, for which you need to crack 3 packs to have a rock, paper, scissors game. Here. And we have the art card of the dude that has gotten himself stuck in a cemetery, but he isn't a zombie. The artist for this is Tran Nguyen. There you go. Here he is. His fearful face. There's not a zombie inside yet, but he already knows that he's going to die if he's being left, and he's thinking. You can see he is thinking about his upcoming fate. What the heck? That's brown hair. The land we have seen before, so we'll skip past it a little bit. Olivia's Midnight Ambush is a card with a vampire, Olivia. The 2 mana instant says target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. If it's night, the creature gets -13/-13 until end of turn. So that's a lot. Olivia is a lot stronger at night. And you were almost finished with that ritual, weren't you, darling? How very rude of me. To make it up to you, I'll send you an invitation to my wedding. She's turning them into a vampire. But they can come to her wedding, and we get to see a little bit more of the wedding. And maybe we have to look out for this, but maybe this attendee will be in the new set, the next set as well. Little bit of foreshadowing for that. The Mounted Dread Knight. A 5 mana vampire knight, another vampire. A 5/4 with trample. It gets +1 counter on it if an opponent lost life this turn. So that's the vampire theme. That if an opponent lost life this turn, it gets better. So it's a little bit of the raid theme from Ixalan. Markov Vampires Cultivate. An image of such what? Decadent elegance that it can be easy to forget they can field a deadly fighting force. So they seem so decadent, so high up on their horse that they don't seem to fight a lot, but they are still vampires, so they can fight. You should know that. Vampire Interloper is a 2 mana vampire scout. It has flying and it can't block at all. It's a 2/1, pretty good for 2 mana. The Voldaren, oh, again a vampire by the way. The Voldaren have begun demanding blood offerings from the villagers in their territory. Their agents arrive from the sky to collect the ceremonial bowls in eerie silence. Oh. So they don't like to fight with the villagers. They just want the blood. So if you can get the blood, they will just come down silently, knock on your window, and you give them your bowl. And they will eat out of a bowl. They are more dog-like than the werewolves at this point. Bat Whisperer, another vampire. A 4 mana vampire that whispers to bats. When it enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, you may also get a 1/1 bat. And otherwise it's just a 4 mana 4/2. A 4 mana 4/2 plus a bat, it's okay. It gets alright. My little winged friends tell me which of these down folks are worth tasting for myself. So these bats have tasted humans as well. Can these humans not even fight bats? But we also see the lights in the background as well. A little bit more faded in this case. Probably because we see here that this vampire is not at all a fan of humans themselves, but mostly for their blood. 4 candles. Pretty cool. Jody Moore, I think. I don't know how to say that. Not in my language, not in yours. So sorry. But I think that's a nice choice. To see these protective lights in the back. And having them being eaten on by these vampires. Another vampire noble. It's a 3 mana vampire noble. When it enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, they lose even more life, 2 life, and you gain 2 life. The debased remnants of the Falcon Wrath. So we have seen probably all the families here. But the Falcon Wrath bloodline prowl the passes near the ruined castles. So most vampire families have fallen down, and these aggressive ones, especially the Falcon Wrath, were pretty aggressive, but now they are even more crazy. It's just a 3/2 for 3, and it can drain your opponent a little bit more than you already did. So more aggressive, and we go away from the vampires for a little bit for a 4 mana 2/4 reach spider. Those used to be the 5 mana ones were 3/5, I think. But when it dies, you get a spider back, which is creepy. When it dies, one of the spiders, which you can also see on its back, will come out of this nest. Travelers in the somber world scan the ground for werewolves and other threats, unaware of what lurks above. Spiders. Yeah, I wouldn't be scared of this one. It doesn't seem too big, to be honest. Dryas Revival. So it's the sorcery card for Ren and the 7 we were at. Ren and 7 or 8? No, I don't know. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So the revival is shown as being as returning a card from your graveyard. And it has flashback, so you can return this as well. Pleased to meet you, 7. So it was 7. Which she got turned into, which she got inserted in. Let's say that. 3 mana, return something to your hand. It's okay. It's a kind of card draw, so I'll let it pass. Vengeful Strangler. It's a 2 mana human rogue. It cannot block. It doesn't seem to be able to block. It doesn't seem to be able to attack much either yet. But when it dies, return it to the battlefield transformed under your control, attached to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. So your opponent kills this, or your opponent's creature lets it be killed, and then it comes back as karma. As the flames consume the killer, his eyes remain fixed on the executioner's face, not to remember them. His hands watching like angry spiders. And again, hands are a really big theme in this set. And the hands turn into Strangling Grasp. It's an enchantment aura of 2 hands on an executioner. At the beginning of your upkeep, the controller of this permanent sacrifices a non-land permanent and loses 1 life. So they lose 1 life, and they probably want to sacrifice this creature, but it's a little bit less good than that, because they can also choose to keep sacrificing smaller creatures if you have enchanted their big creature. But still, think about it in this way. It comes in as a 2 mana 2/1 that can only attack, and they probably don't want to block it, because then it will come back as this. The next day, the executioner was found with ashen handprints on his throat. And nothing else was found because the hands burned out as well. Kind of gruesome. But kind of legit, maybe. We have another bird admirer here, which we have seen 3 times. So we'll go past that. Lisa! Ooh. I'm saying it a little bit too excited maybe, but I don't like to be overly excited or something. But it's legit, because Lisa is a forgotten archangel, and it's cool to see her finally. And it's a 5 mana 4/5 with lifelink, and I think she's a little bit angry that she's being forgotten. Everyone is talking about Sigarda right now, and it's a shame for her that she's being forgotten that much. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, return the card to its owner's hand at the beginning of your next end step. Which is really strong. I think this is saying that she is resurrecting people. I think this is also saying that she's kind of saving people in a way. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. So it's kind of the really a lot of cool commander options. True. I think Catilda was cool too as a commander. And what else? Maybe Danik. Danik was cool as a commander. What else did we get? Old stick fingers maybe. But mostly, I think Lisa would be my favorite commander here. Because getting them back to your hand is really strong. You never run out of value, and that is great. And I think this is a great curve topper actually. I think if the last card isn't accidentally something even more great now. Gavany Silversmith is a 4 mana human soldier. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. Okay, well, it's still pretty strong. More than heat and the strength of his arm, it was his faith that gave the blade its unyielding edge. Edgy, literally. But the Gavany Silversmith gives other creatures weapons. It gives them faith as well, and therefore it gives them +1 counters. It can give itself a +1 counter, making it a 3/4 and still growing another creature, so that's pretty strong. Let's look at this a little bit, because I've been sorting these now all the time. I'm going to let you go up, don't get sick. But let's look at them a little bit, because that was the last pack right there. We have one colorless card. We got a lot of blue cards in the beginning, mostly. A really big stack there. We got a little bit of the white, we got a little bit of the black. A little bit of the green, but green is always a good card for commons in my experience. And we have red, which is also often a strong card. We have Lisa, which we of course want to play, but she's black and white, and those are really weak colors here for the rest of it. So you probably won't be able to make a strong deck out of it, but cool to play with anyways. Catilda, I think green is pretty alright here, so that is an option. White-blue is not really the best, and we did see some spirits, but I'm not sure about that. How strong that has become in this particular case. Well, stick fingers is cool and you want to probably play with it, but green and black is also not the best combination here. I think Simic isn't really the best either. Blue and black, did we see that before here? I don't think so, right? No. So this was okay, but also not really the color I want to be in here, to be honest. I think it's mostly, maybe it's green-blue, but it was mostly about flashback, and I don't think that was the strongest. These are good, and green-white also pretty good. Maybe it's green, white, black actually, because we have this, and then we also have this. So let's look at the combination of green, white, black. Let's try that out. Because blue, if I look at it, we do have the most, and there's probably a lot of playables here as well, and some strong ones as well. But you probably want blue here to use it with green, and then this one is still strong, but not as strong as it could be, because you kind of want to do it in the, or use it in the blue-black type of cards, of types of decks. Yeah, it's mostly, blue is mostly in this case, I think, for the zombie theme. Like almost all of these are for zombies. Yeah, no. I don't really think it's that strong, so no. I want to check out this combination. Because, let's see. Let's do black first, because it's not too big. I think you could use the Strangler. You don't want to be aggressive really, so the aggressive stuff from vampires would not be my first go-to. Removal's always good. Duress in a control option is an option. Diagraph Horde is only attackers in this case, so won't be valuing that too much. Like, I'm only picking out the things that you really want to do. Here, Shady Traveler, as we are also in green, is a good option, I think. Baneclaw is mostly for attacking, but is still a little bit of the top end that we are missing a lot of here. And Heirloom Mirror is maybe something that you might want to try out. Then what do we really want to play from white here? This is strong in the green-white stuff. This as well, the Coven. We wanted a lot of humans. But yeah, well, sealed might not be the best though. This is strong. This protects your people. Might be a thing. Gaffney thing, definitely. I don't think if you can use this, but wouldn't want it too much. So I think this is from white. Top end to be flying is cool too, I think. And making them stronger is even more. And green is our biggest color here. So this is the defense, that's cool. Some top end for really big creatures is also cool. Wouldn't want Rise of the Ants per se, I don't think. We need this as much as possible. Here, we want it as much as possible. No, we can do all three, right? Or do we have to do all three? And yeah, well, Dawnheart Mentor can be a strong part of it. And I like this one. And then we have like the Lisa, of course. The old stick fingers, I will call it 3-mana card. Rite of Harmony can be strong here. I mean, it will draw you 1 or 2 cards. Definitely in a slower set, and then with the Catilda it becomes stronger as well. We don't really have a lot of werewolves, I don't think. But this is still ramp. So we definitely play this, but I'm... Oh wait, we didn't even have red here. So no, not that. Green, white, black. Green, white, black. Oh, that's it. I think it's fine. And then you might drop in some other things to ease up the curve, but I think this would be the deck that I would go with. And that is mostly based on the cards I want to play, not really that it's the best that you could build, but that's my quick thing that I would want to do. I like playing this as well. And yeah, that's how I would do it. So cool. I think I personally like the Witches vibe the most, actually, from this set, and the softer dark themes, actually. Usually I'm more of a dark themes, but in this case I like the parts where, for example, Lisa is really, well, her wings are falling off, and her arms fell down, like she's so sad. I like those parts about this. So yeah. Hey, thank you for watching anyways, and yeah. Have a nice day if it's not too late for you right now, and otherwise I would say have fun with the new set. Are you going to get it? Are you happy about what cards have come out? Do you see some stuff that is cool for your own decks? Is there something you are looking for in the set that you will be opening stuff for? Let me know, and we'll see you soon. Bye.